100% match. He needed to swing into action and give that donation. Well, Peter McCleave is in the Christie Hospital in Manchester at the moment, and he needs a donor. Without one, he's been given 7 years to live. Peter, good morning.
Hi, Anna. How are you?
I'm all right, thanks. How are you, more importantly?
Not bad at all. Pretty good today. Pretty good.
Oh, that's good to hear. Take me back, Peter. Tell me about how you were diagnosed in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, it was completely left of field. So I've been as fit as I'd ever been. So at 39, I just completed Ironman Wales in 2016. Then a couple of days later, felt a little bit ropey, and my wife made me go to the doctors, which is not something I was prone to doing. And I got diagnosed with pneumonia and sepsis. So I was taken to the cancer in Chester, and 4 or 5 days of antibiotics got that sorted out and cleared up. But there was a persistent shadow on my right lung, which they thought was fluid on the lung. So they were tracking it through X-ray for subsequent 2 to 3 months, and then they ran a CT scan. And I think that what had been spoken about before was basically draining the fluid off the lung and then just cracking it on as normal. But on the back of that CT scan, the radiologist thankfully picked up on some lesions. He spotted some abnormalities on my skeleton. So these lesions are basically, it's a bit like osteoporosis, weakening of the bone on the sternum, the spine, and my skull. And on further investigation, it was everywhere. So that they shouldn't have been there. And after further blood tests, they diagnosed the myeloma. So completely left of field, had no history of illness, and then got hit with this bombshell.
Yeah, I bet it was, and it must, as you said, have come as a real shock, because you were just saying there you were the fittest you'd ever been.
Absolutely, yeah, and it was just something which I never expected. I mean, in hindsight, when you look at some of the symptoms of myeloma, they were all there, but you put it down to training. You know, the aches and pains you kind of put down to being at the gym, or the little sort of illnesses you pick up, they just come as standard. But when you take a step back, and most people never would, that's when the picture starts to unfold. So yeah, I mean, they suspect it being there probably in the year, probably 2015, 2016. So it's been there building up, but really started to kick in, back in March 2017 when I got diagnosed.
And as we said, you're in the Christie at the moment. What are they doing for you right now?
Right now, I'm mid what's called an autologous stem cell transplant. So that's where they haven't found a donor for me, which is kind of the holy grail right now. But what they're able to do is they gave me a big blast of chemotherapy this time last week, and then they used my own stem cells. So what they do is they effectively create a shell out of your body. They kill all of your own bone marrow with the chemotherapy, then reintroduce your stem cells back into your system. And the stem cell is effectively the precursor to all of your, all the cells in your body. So the theory goes, and in practice, is that when those stem cells are introduced to your body, they identify the fact that the chemotherapy has killed off your bone marrow, and then they will naturally recreate new bone marrow, which will then recreate the cells that create your immune system. So it will give me a period of remission, hopefully. How long that is, we just don't know. It's one of those how long's a piece of string questions. But in essence, it gives us time to hopefully find that donor who can effectively provide a new immune system and try and keep his myeloma in check.
Yeah. So I realise this is a very medicalised question, but what difference does it make when somebody actually donates their stem cells to you? Would that be a cure? Would that solve everything for you?
It's not a cure. Unfortunately, myeloma can't be cured. It can be managed as long as the treatments are effective. So it will always come back. But with a donor bone marrow, you get much longer remission. You get, if you're lucky, you get many, many years where you can just live a normal life. Because effectively, what you're doing is, my body, for whatever reason, the myeloma will come back. But a donor, you're effectively getting brand new stem cells. So they should proliferate into brand new bone marrow cells and a new immune system, and keep in check any of the nasty stuff that's in there. So it's a new, it's incredible science, but it's a new immune system effectively to keep the myeloma in check.
Yeah, and as we said, I mean, we talked about this earlier in the programme, and Gareth explained beautifully how simple it is to get involved and get on the register. They send you out a pack, you swab the inside of your cheek and you send it away, and that's you on the register. And we've already had, several texts and several messages from people saying, look, I'm going to do that, I'm going to get involved. If anybody is thinking about it this morning, the difference it could make to you, Peter, if the right person gets on that register is huge.
It is. It literally is life-changing. I mean, it's obviously being told you're given a diagnosis of this magnitude is soul destroying, but it's what it actually means in practice. You're not just looking at just doing a 9 to 5 job. You're looking at the time with your friends, and you're looking at watching your kids growing up. It's having to contemplate awful things like were I to were the worst to happen, in the next 7 years, having to give the blessing, the things you want to say to your wife and say, look, I want you to be happy. If you meet someone else, please. These are the things you don't want to talk about, really. And it sounds really harsh to have these conversations, but that's what you're sort of forced to do. So this hopefully, keeps people in my position able to sort of live a life with the people they care about and love and add value, do the things they want to do. So if anyone was thinking of doing it, the wonderful position we're in now is that only 2% of the United Kingdom are actually on the donor register. That gives us 98% of the population, subject to the age and the health checks, who could potentially be a match. And I know there is a match out there. Genetically, the numbers stack up. There is someone out there who's that genetic match, and if anyone has it within themselves to do that simple swab, it's not like donating an organ that you're never going to see again. These stem cells you're creating second after second, day after day, and they're the life-giving cells that someone somewhere, even if it's not me, you can literally offer someone the chance of hope and longevity of life, and give them the chance to do the things that we all just take for granted. I certainly took for granted.
Peter, very wise words and beautifully put. Thank you so much.
No, thank you for having me on, Anna. I really appreciate it.
Take care, Peter. Peter McCleve, who's in the Christie, thanks, Peter, the Christie Hospital in Manchester at the moment, as he was saying, having that blood cleaning procedure that takes a while. And he was just explaining there the difference that it can make. Just, there is somebody out there. There is somebody out there. It could be you, it could be me, whoever it is, who matches Peter's tissue, who could be the person who changes his life. When we talked about this earlier and we heard from Gareth, who got that call saying, look, we found somebody who you are 100% match for and you could do that for them. James got in contact when he heard Gareth. And he sent text, says, hi Anna, great work highlighting stem cell donation and transplantation. Important that people are aware that they can make a difference and sometimes give very young children a second chance at life. Our Jack had one in 2012 to help him into remission from ALL. We've recently been able to contact our unrelated donor and say thank you for his 5.5 years remission. Incredibly emotional time. From James and Olivia in Waltham Abbey. I'm really glad to say that James is on the line now. Hello, James.